Hello, my friends. Assalamu alaikum. This is part 2 relating to the question we are addressing. And the question is, why don't people believe that there is a personal God who had been sending messengers like Adam, Noah, Moses, and Jesus, etc.? In this part, we will be focused on the other side of the argument. You would recall that in the first part, we discussed all the various arguments that people make to not believe in a personal God. My friends, now let's begin the other side of the argument. My friends, I will begin this segment by saying that though the religious leadership in human history has mostly used religion for ulterior motives, and it is still happening, and I am afraid it will continue to happen as long as humans occupy the planet Earth. But that doesn't mean that we should be merely satisfied by condemning them. I mean by condemning their actions and attitude or behavior. Rather, we must do our own independent analysis to come to certain sound conclusions regarding matters relating to faith, because this is a very serious matter, and if there is a life after this life, I mean hereafter, then we cannot afford to be relaxed or indifferent to this very fundamental question that could have grave consequences in the next life. So my friends, that is the first point I wanted to make. Let me repeat again that this matter demands our utmost attention, because if there is an afterlife, then we might have to pay a very heavy price if we don't pay attention to this very important question. My friends, now let's see what Quran tells us about human behavior. My friends, there are many verses in Quran which inform us as to how human beings usually behave or think of God when they are in very difficult situations like life or death situations which are beyond their capacity to handle. The first verse is from chapter 10, verse 12. Translation: And when affliction touches man, he calls upon us, whether lying on his side or sitting or standing. But when we remove from him his affliction, he continues in disobedience, as if he had never called upon us to remove an affliction that touched him. My friends, this verse highlights how people often turn to God in times of hardship, but forget Him when relief comes. The second verse is from chapter 39, verse 8. Translation: And when adversity touches man, he calls upon his Lord, turning to him alone. Then when he bestows on him a favor from himself, he forgets him whom he called upon before, and he attributes to Allah equals to mislead people from his way. Say, enjoy your disbelief for a little. Indeed, you are of the companions of the fire. My friends, this verse illustrates the pattern of people seeking God during hardship but neglecting their connection to Him once their difficulties are resolved. Verse number 3. This is from chapter 17, verse 67. Translation: And when adversity touches you at sea, lost are all those you invoke except for Him. But when He delivers you to the land, you turn away from Him, and ever is man ungrateful. My friends, this verse illustrates the human tendency to remember and turn to God in moments of danger or distress. But once safety is restored, people often forget their reliance on Him and return to neglect. Verse number 4, translation. This is from chapter 6, verses 63 and 64. Say, who rescues you from the darkness of the land and sea when you call upon Him, imploring aloud and privately? If He should save us from this crisis, we will surely be among the thankful. Say, it is Allah who saves you from it and from every distress. Then you still associate others with Him? My friends, this verse again reflects the human tendency to call upon God in times of danger, but forget Him once they are rescued, showing a lack of gratitude. Verse number 5, my friends. This is from chapter 41, verse 51. Translation. And when we bestow favor upon man, he turns away and distances himself. But when evil touches him, then he is full of extensive supplication. My friends, this verse also highlights the recurring pattern of human behavior. When people experience ease and blessings, they often forget God. But when difficulty strikes, they fervently turn to Him in prayer, seeking relief. My friends, this verse emphasizes human inconsistency in remembering and relying on God during different circumstances. Verse number 6. This is from chapter 10, verses 22 and 23. Translation. It is He who enables you to travel on land and sea until when you are in ships and they sail with them by a good wind and they rejoice therein, there comes a storm wind and the waves come upon them from everywhere and they assume that they are surrounded, supplicating Allah, sincere to Him in religion, if you should save us from this, we will surely be among the thankful. But when He saves them, at once they commit injustice upon the earth without any right. O mankind, your injustice is only against yourselves, being merely the enjoyment of worldly life. Then to us is your return, and we will inform you of what you used to do. My friends, this verse shows how people call upon God in desperation, but forget Him when saved. My friends, the message is very clear from all the 6 verses I have shared thus far, and that is, human beings pay attention to God only when they are in dire circumstances. I mean, situations involving life and death. I hope it is clear. My friends, we need to use our common sense really well to reach sound conclusions. Let me give a very simple example. Just imagine if you come to visit my house and I offer you a glass of water and then tell you that this glass is so smart that it got itself filled from water tap. You will be completely bewildered over my statement. You will start thinking, what is this man saying? I hope he is in his right senses. And if I kept repeating this statement, you might start questioning my sanity. Isn't that true, my friends? Now let's be honest. My friends, let's look at the universe we live in. Everything is not only amazing, rather miraculous. Look at anything around us, including ourselves. Everything is mind-boggling. And then some of us still say that all these things came into being by themselves and there is no creator. My friends, what do you think about this statement? My friends, people are not willing to accept my glass filling water in it by itself, but at the same time, we are willing to accept that this universe, an extremely complex universe, came into being by itself without a creator. How can we accept that statement just based on common sense? My friends, I think we need to get serious, really serious, to address the question of God. I have no doubt that if a person sincerely seeks an answer to this question with all honesty and dedication, he or she will get the right answer. My friends, one more point to think about. Is it possible that all the well-known prophets mentioned in various scriptures can be fabricated characters? My friends, I'll just give one example. The last prophet, Muhammad, peace be upon him, is acknowledged by all as a historical figure. What does it mean? It means that he is acknowledged as a real historical figure who lived in 6th and 7th century Arabia with well-documented events in his life. My friends, before I close, I want to share a thought, and that is, I think it is not possible that our Creator would not give each one of us the opportunity and chance to know Him, to recognize Him. How? My friends, we need to address this question at our personal level. My friends, let me quickly share Newton's very interesting story. Here it is. Newton had finished the design of a scale model of our solar system. A very skilled craftsman then built it from Newton's plans. One day, Newton's friend, an atheist, came to visit him. His friend saw the model and instantly recognized what it was. As he studied it closely, he said to Newton, "This is magnificent. Who made it?" Looking up, Newton said with a perfectly straight face, "Nobody made it. All parts of the model put themselves together." His friend, now quite upset, said, "You must think I am a fool. Of course somebody made it. He is a genius, and I would like to meet him." Newton set his book aside and slowly walked across the room to his friend. As they stood in front of the model, Newton explained to his friend, "This model is just a poor imitation of our wonderful universe. You know the laws and the precise order which govern our universe. I can't seem to convince you that this model, this toy, doesn't have a designer or a maker. However, you have said many times that the solar system which this model represents just happened. Now tell me, is that the logical conclusion of a scientist?" Newton's friend quickly understood how foolish he had been. He realized that there had to be a master designer and creator for everything. My friends, thank you for listening. May you have a wonderful day, and Assalamu alaikum.